is the charm here. So let me just fix my camera here and we will get started. It's going to be a fairly long class tonight. I'm sorry I was a little bit late, but let me just refresh my computer here and we'll be off to the races. I hope you guys had a great Christmas. I haven't been on for a while. I took a break and spent some quality time with my husband and family, and we were not able to do Christmas with our adult kids from out of state because they all had the stomach bug. And so we're going to go down there Martin Luther King weekend. So looks like I'm not centered very well. So let me just move things around on my desk. That way I changed up my desk setup today, and that white ring that you see is the problem, but I'll try to work the best I can with it. I wanted my light ring above me, and I know that's what I'm going to get. So if you were watching, could somebody please just post a comment? That would be great. That way I know that you can hear me and see me. We're going to be working with the butterfly, or beautiful butterflies. And this is a suite in the new catalog, upcoming catalog, that will be available for customers January 7th. And it's available to demonstrators. Okay, Just Diane, hi there. Thank you so much for commenting, so I know that everything is good. This suite, it's called Beautiful, well, it's Bouquet. Let me just get the real name, Beautiful Bouquet Suite. The price is unbelievable. It's $79.25. That's a customer price. If you're a demonstrator, it's $79.25 less your discount, which is 20 or 25%. We are going to have an amazing starter kit special come January 7th. So I would encourage anyone that is not a demonstrator to think about joining. I have a great team. We're called the Inspired Daisies, team of stampers, and we're from all over the United States. We're not a really, really big group, but we're a group of about 18 plus myself, so 19. And everyone's really a hobby stamper, and they're just taking advantage of the discount. So I encourage you never to pay retail pricing. Just by purchasing a starter kit doesn't mean you have to go out and do classes. So we'll get into that a little bit more in the week. I'll be doing a video on what you could put in your starter kit, or what I would suggest. But I cannot show you the mini catalog. All I can tell you is that it is item number 164-619-7925, and it includes the beautiful butterflies bundle, the itty bitty bouquet mix, which are little sequin elements there. Let's see, beautiful bouquet 6x6 designer paper. I am not using that paper. I'm using celebration paper. Excuse me. And then you can purchase the stamp set and the dies separately, but I highly suggest you don't do that because when you purchase the bundle, you can save 10%. It also includes the beautiful butterflies hybrid embossing folder. So I think it does. Oh, to order bundle items individually. Okay, yes, I think it does. You know, I don't even know if it includes the beautiful butterflies hybrid. Yes, it does. I know it does because I bought the suite and I got everything here. So this is a really, I tell my team members, this is a really good price, and there's so much you can do with it. I haven't even created my template yet because I got to figure out how I want to create it because there's just so much. So here's the stamps. And then inside are these fabulous dies. So I've got some really, really big butterflies today. So this one is a very detailed. This is an outline. And this one we're going to use today. It's got some paper in it, actually. Creating a butterfly fold card. Hopefully I can do it right. These two are the same. So if you are creating multiple butterflies that you want this to look the same, there's two that are exactly the same. This is the body of the bigger butterfly over here. And then you also have two bodies that go with the smaller butterflies. So it really makes it easy. And then there's two label tags, which go with the words, most of the words. The other ones, not so much, but you can find other dies, like I used a stylish shapes dies, circles. And then this is the outline. And then this one also here is the outline when you stamp the butterflies. So that's what it looks like. There's a lot of them. I never even counted how many there were. And I thought I lost the larger body today, but I finally found it. So I'm going to put these back on here because I'm going to need some of these dies. I'm going to be die cutting and embossing so I can show you the whole shebang here. The only stamp I did not, let me see if I can find some white paper. Or no, I'm going to probably need black. This is huge. And I didn't measure it, but I would say it's probably at least 4 inches across by maybe 3.5. It's huge butterfly. And I haven't stamped with it yet either, so I'm not really sure how it stamps, but I'm sure it will stamp fabulously. This is the true size here, and it is huge. So I'm just going to put this back on here. I'm not using it tonight. And then here's the hybrid embossing folder, which I'll be using. The designer paper that I'm using in the class today, and this is a free class with a qualifying order of, and I'll go over that in just a second, but I did post this on an email. I have not put this on my website yet, but that will be forthcoming probably late tonight or tomorrow at some point. But my ordering special is really cool. You can receive 4 card kits, one of each I'm going to be doing tonight for an order of $35 to $49.99. And then an order of $50 or above, you'll get 8 card kits. So 2 designs, or all 4 designs times 2. So 8 cards. So you'll have to use my host code number for any orders under $150. And even if your order is below $35, I still send something to you. So I do appreciate your business. So my website, inspiredbygram.com. And then the celebration is happening up until February 28th. It starts on the 7th of January. But this is one of the designer papers. It's a 12 by 12. It's called Bloom Impressions. And it's free with a $60 purchase. And if you have the celebration flyer or brochure, whatever you want to call it, it's on page 11. And the colors, there's so many, and they're bright and cheerful. We have Azure Afternoon, Blackberry Bliss, Blueberry Bushel, Coastal Cabana, Daffodil Delight, Flirty Flamingo, Melon Mambo, Peach Pie, Petunia Pop, Pumpkin Pie, Shy Shamrock. So I'll be using some of those colors today. And then here's the front, sides are on the left, and then that's the back side. So more floral on the front, and then kind of a coordinating pattern to go on the back side. And these all coordinate really nicely together. So that is my ordering special. I will leave this here. If you want to take a screenshot of it, that would be great. And then let's see what else I wanted to go over. I am running a product share. So it did expire on December 31st, but I am going to keep it open until January 5th. So January 5th is the deadline to order your product share. I'm going to be sending out invoices pretty soon. I can't do that until 4 days before the catalog goes live. So for those of you that have already reserved your share, thank you so much. But if you haven't and you're looking for a designer paper share, it's going to be from the mini catalog and also Celebration. And if it's on my website right now, I think it's on my website, but it wasn't I'm going to resend out the email. So you have a choice of doing or getting paper, embellishments, or the ribbon. So January 5th at midnight is now my deadline. And again, thank you so much for those of you that have ordered or kind of registered for it. I do appreciate your business. All right, so one last thing before we start the class is my card club. I will no longer be creating my cards on the line. They are going to be special for those members that belong to my card club. And I thought I would do a Valentine's Day class using non-traditional colors. I think it's perfectly fine to send Valentine's Day cards without the pinks and the reds and all that good stuff. And I wanted to bring Daffodil Delight into the world here. We haven't seen it in a while. And I think Daffodil Delight is very lovely. So this is one of the cards that you'll make in Card Club. And I used the exposed brick 3D embossing folder. And then on the inside, we're designing our insides much simpler from now on. So we're going to be using a lot of that designer paper on the front side and on the inside as well. So that is one of the designs. And can you see these little bee trinkets? They're tiny bee trinkets is what they're called. They don't have an adhesive on the back side, so you'll have to use glue or really, really small glue dots. But I used glue to adhere them on. It just takes a few seconds for it to dry. So, and then we've got some Daffodil Delight 1/8 inch ribbon, which we haven't seen Daffodil Delight in a while. So that is one of the cards you'll make. The next one is this one here. And it's a very just generic kind of card, but I think it's so, it just ties in this image here in the punch. So Hugs for Love is what it's called. And then here's the inside of how I designed this one. You guys can all use whatever pattern you want. You don't have to do exactly what I do with my card. So you and I make the best team. And I totally agree with that. When the Inspired Daisies, they just make me feel so happy. And I'm very proud to be their leader. And I'm sure some of you guys are on here as well, which I can see Deb and Deborah are. All right, this is kind of it's a fun fold, but very basic fun fold. This is vellum here, and I'll show you the paper in just a minute. It's called Floral and Gingham Vellum, and you'll be receiving, I think I said 6 by 12, one sheet of each. And then here's another way I designed it. I added the punch here on top of the pecan pie just to give it some stability. And I'm not sure if I'll be able to include this punch shape for my card club members. It all depends on how much vellum I have left over. So that's another one. And then we have the last one here is sending you a big hug. Again, I used the Daffodil Delight ribbon. I created this one differently than my sample. You can either put your ribbon going portrait or horizontal. And then you can, if you're doing it horizontal, you'll just have to, I recommend you popping up the focal point here. This is vellum, by the way. And underneath it is our designer paper. And then here's what I did for the inside. So that is my card club. It always expires on the 20th of each month at 8 p.m. Eastern time. And it's $39.95 per month. Here's the Floral and Gingham Vellum. It's all 12 by 12. And if you want to order this individually, it's $10. Not too bad. And it's beautiful vellum. And then here's the Floral Delight 12 by 12 designer paper. So pretty. And honestly, you know what? You may get a Valentine's card with me using this Floral Delight. I just think it's very, very happy. So, all right, we are going to get started. I need a lot of room tonight, so I really have to stay as organized as I can. So hopefully you'll bear with me as I kind of go from one card to the next. So I have them all stacked up here. And I'll try to give you some tricks on how you use the embossing folder, how you can cut from the embossing folder and the die at the same time. But right now we're just going to start with a very simple card. I like to do simple. So this is just a happy birthday card, and the focal point or the color is Blackberry Bliss. And then on the inside, we're going to stamp in Blackberry Bliss, the time to celebrate with the butterfly. So, and then on the envelopes, I don't have those here just because it would be clutter. I do stamp the same butterfly that I stamp on the inside of the card on the envelope. And I'll be doing that with you. So one thing I do need is my Stampin' Pierce mat. And I honestly thought it was here. So hold on. Oh, Lord. I know it's somewhere. Let me just check one more place because I really need it. Oh boy. Okay, I'll just use a stack of paper and I'm sure I'll find it. It's here somewhere. And I'll just kind of use this little pad of paper. That will be okay for a piercing mat. Okay, so let's grab my kit. I'm going to put these, oh wait, duh. It's right here. I knew I would see it eventually. Don't you hate that? Like, I will be looking for Stampin' Dimensionals or my liquid glue or the best thing is my piercing tool. It'll be right in front of me and I don't see it. I don't know if that happens to you guys. However, it happens to me. Okay, so we've got quite a few little pieces here. I'm going to change out the body of this butterfly here. I have it basic black and I really can't see it too well because it really is a dark on a dark for the cardstock colors. So I'm going to create the body. I've already die cut it in Fresh Freesia. That way it'll pop off that Blackberry Bliss. All right, so I'm not going to give you any of the sizes because this is a free class and you can earn it and you'll get my instruction sheets with the class and those will be going out probably around the, I don't know, the class free with a purchase. It runs from today, which is January 1st, Happy New Year's, and all the way through the 14th of January. All right, so these are the bodies. They're about an inch. So I'm going to start with adhering the strips. These are 1 inch across. I was going to give you the sizes, but I'm going to lay these out. And these are my patterns I used on my sample card, looking like this. So what I like to do is I kind of like to look at the patterns and I'm going to recreate the one that I did earlier, but I like to just put them on here first, just free form, and just to see what they would look like. Like, let me just do it a little differently. Okay, so if I was to go like this, I think that it doesn't flow very well because you'll go with a kind of a busy pattern to more subtle and then subtle, then busy. So I think you have to be like a busy, subtle, busy, subtle. At least that's what I would do. So I'm going to keep, and like I said, I want to make this card exactly like I did earlier. So I'm just going to flip flop these two. Very simple. And let me grab my glue. I'm going to try using my liquid glue today. Got to use it up. So I start with the outside pieces first, and then I will finish with the inside. So we'll just add our liquid glue here. And it's a new bottle, so there's a lot of glue there. And I'm going to just slide this in position. All right, so here's a little glue oozing out there. And now I'm going to take this piece. That's a pretty one. Pretty side too. We're going to be using this side in a different card. And I am kind of looking at the direction because it is directional paper, especially this one here. If you can see that like green grass, and that is in Shy Shamrock. So I'm just going to line these up, trying to get the same border as I have over here. And then I'm going to double check that I still have a border and kind of estimate how it's going to be. Sorry, I've got glue on my fingers. All right, so we're doing pretty good. So I'm going to add the left inner side. And just a little bit smaller space in the outside borders. You could also pop these up. So you could go adhere this straight down to the Blackberry Bliss, pop this one up with dimensionals, and then, you know, vice versa. Then this one would be adhered straight down on the card, and that one would be on dimensionals. You can just do this any way you want. Now this one, depending on how you cut the paper, is kind of what the pattern is, and sometimes a little difficult to figure out which way is the right way. Okay, so that is all we have for this panel. And I'm going to flip it over, and I've got mini glue dots over here, so I'm going to grab some of these. This is a great beginner card. And the reason why is because it really doesn't have a lot of things that you need to do. It'll teach you how to use our cut and emboss machine, and we're using the label die and also the butterfly die and the body die. That sounds really weird, body die. I don't think I've ever said that, but I'm gonna just cut these pieces around here. This is from an old paper pumpkin kit, so these was a leftover, so I'm gonna use these up. All right, so we've got those over here. And we'll just squish those down really good just to make sure they stay on our paper. And I'll grab my piercing tool, got my take your pick out. And I need to change out the tip because I think somebody used it in my house for some other reason than picking up embellishments. Actually, let's stamp, because if I make a mistake, I can still work with the card base. So I'm going to open this up. Blackberry Bliss is our color. And then on the inside, I did stamp Time to Celebrate with the butterfly. So I will grab the sentiment stamp. I have it mounted on a D block diagonally because that's the way I like to do it. And it takes my eye off of the edge of the block, and it goes like, my eyes will go now to the words itself. Okay, so that's that. Now I'm going to add in that butterfly. So let me grab it over here. There's a lot of stamps that come with this set. I'm just gonna, stamp it over right here just to add in a little bit. I got a little smudge there. And I pulled my desk out, and now I remember why I pushed it in is because my floor squeaks. So if you guys hear my floor squeak, can you let me know? Because then I will need to move my desk a little bit differently. Okay, so that's the inside, and then we're going to stamp Happy Birthday. Oh wait, I need to stamp the envelope too, but I'll get to that. And again, I have this mounted diagonally on a C block, as in Charlie. And I'm going to stamp this one more towards the right side, so I have a place over here on the left side for that butterfly. I just need to bring this a little bit closer to me so I can see. Try to stamp some straightness here. Let me grab my envelope and then that same butterfly and re-ink it. And I'm going to show you how I'm doing my back side of the cards too. So that's our first generation ink. And now I'm going to grab my, this is how I'm doing it, by the way. I'm going to grab my card base, make sure I'm stamping on the back side. And I'm going to grab this Angel Policy stamp, and I'm going to stamp it like this. And I still have that second generation ink on here, but it may have dried a little bit. So, we'll need to huff on it, and that means just using your breath to make that ink get rejuvenated. Okay, so I just did that off camera, and I'm going to just stamp right over there. And look at that. Isn't that really pretty? I think that's gorgeous. And it gives your back side of your card something, and I just think it's really cool. Okay, we're almost done this one. Let me just close up my Blackberry Bliss. And we're going to add this here. I'm looking, make sure it's correct because I got that grass. It's very obvious if it's upside down or not. And then we'll just adhere that down. Our sentiment of happy birthday will get popped up with our dimensionals. So I was looking for them, and guess what? They were right in front of me. I need to learn how to just put things in the same place. All right, let me grab, I'm gonna grab a, I thought I had one. Yes. I gotta change out that tip on that take your pick tool, and I don't want to do that now. So I'm gonna grab my other piercing tool. My floor is really squeaking. All right, I'm gonna put this over here. Basically, you can put it wherever you want, but if you wanted to put it on the left side, you would have just had to put this happy birthday over towards the left, and that way you would have the butterfly on the right side. I'm just going to just put this on here about a 1/2 inch up from the edge of the Blackberry Bliss. And then we will grab that butterfly, which is way over here. I'm going to need a mini glue dot. I think I did a mini glue dot. Let's see. Oh no, I use a mini dimensional. So what I'll do is flip it over. No, I want to put that body on first. So it's really, really tiny. And all you want to do is just put little dots of glue. You don't need to put any on the antennas. It'll be fine. And then we'll just match it up with the Blackberry Bliss butterfly. And those look really nice together, the Fresh Freesia and the Blackberry Bliss cardstock. And I'm going to grab a really small dimensional. Here's a one that might work. No, it's too big. So I'm going to have to cut some of these a little bit smaller. I only need one, so really small and narrow would be fine. We just don't want it showing on the front side. Okay, we'll bend up the wings here, and I'll take that dimensional backing off. And then we will just kind of put it at an angle over here on the side. Now, you don't have to put that dimensional on there. It's totally up to you. I can, you know what I'll do is, as a comparison, I will actually remove this one and add some glue. And that way you can see the version popped up on the original card and then not popped up. I'm just going to hold that in place just a little bit. Okay. Now that is our card. So let's kind of put these, I don't know if you'll be able to tell which one is popped up because the body of the first one here is in basic black, but maybe I can put them a little bit closer and you might be able to tell. I'm not sure if you can or not. Both look fine. I would just change out that basic black to something different, which is Fresh Freesia. One thing I did not do is put our sequins on. These sequins are fabulous. They go with every single color in the designer paper. I'm going to use the, I think it's either Berry Burst or Melon Mambo color. And I'm going to put 3 on here. So they have 2 different sizes, so a small and a large. And I'm just going to take 2 small ones and 1 larger one and then put it over here. The reason why I did not put one here is because we've got that butterfly in this area and it really doesn't need it. Plus, it would have been 3 or 5 because of odd numbers are much more pleasing to the eye than just even numbers. So that is your first card. Very simple, easy. You could add Wink Stella to the body to make it shine. Just like that. And maybe some of the wings. Just brush stroking it. And then it does kind of glitter here. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the Wink Stella to this one too. That way, this one is sparkly. Okay, so that we'll set those aside, let those dry. And we're going to move on to card number 2, which uses Melon Mambo. So I'm going to just clean up my area here just to make sure everything is good to go. If you have any questions whatsoever, please put those in the comment box. That way I can answer any questions on the fly. I'm looking right now and it doesn't look like there's any questions. We've got Debbie, Deborah, Diane, Alice, Carla on. So thank you so much for watching. Okay, here's this one. Now this one, I know Alice asked about this embossing folder. Let me grab my catalog again. I can't show you the catalog. I know a lot of you already have it, so you can go to page 39. It's called the Beautiful Butterflies Hybrid Embossing Folder. So hybrid means we can also die cut, we can dry emboss and die and cut at the same time, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So, and then see how underneath it I added the designer paper just to get a little hint of it. We're going to lift this body up with our dimensionals and it will come right up off. You can kind of bend this too, knowing that it's probably going to get it flat when you mail it, but the more you bend it, the more you see the designer paper underneath it. And then on the inside, I just stamped in Melon Mambo. All right, so we've got our inside here. You're going to have two different sizes of designer paper. One is for the inside, which is 5 1/4 by 4. And then you're going to have a scrap that's going to be big enough to cut or cover that hole that the butterfly makes. So I'm going to need my embossing machine. And let me just put all this over here. I don't want to lose anything. And I'm going to bring in my larger Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine because you can't do this with a mini. You need to have your big embossing machine. So this is it. I might have to zoom out. And you know what? I can't zoom out any more than that. So I'll try to get on camera the best I can. And then we are going to die cut and emboss. So when we're going to consider this dry embossing. So your setup on your Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine would be plate number 1. And then you have plate number 2, which is kind of like a shim. And then you have your acrylic plate. Look at this. This is no joke. I think I've had this for 2 years. And the hint behind this, it looks filthy dirty, but I learned this from a different demonstrator where she uses one plate only for the bottom and one plate only for the top. And this plate, I am not kidding, it's got to be 2 years old and it's hardly even bent. And this is no joke. I'm serious. It may not look good, but I've had it around for 2 years. All right, so that is how we set up right here. Now, let me grab the embossing folder. I should have showed you this first. So, the right side, Stampin' Up! Is always facing you. So that's one thing you need to remember on this. You also need the die that goes with this. I'm going to be doing this a number of times. So you'll see me doing this multiple times. So if you miss something or don't understand something, put it in the comments. And if you want me to go slower, let me know. Okay, so I'm going to open this up with the Stampin' Up! Logo on front. And then I'm going to add this to the left side. And what I suggest you do is grab some washi tape. And I'll take some off my machine here. Washi tape is going to hold that die in place because some of the dies, the hybrids, will fit real nice. Like this does fit good. I mean, it's not going to move, but trust me, I don't want it to move. So I will put some washi tape in there just for security purposes. I want it to stay put. Okay, so now I've got that. I'm going to take my basic white, and this is just your normal 5 1/4 by 4 panel, And before I die cut it, I want to look at it to see where my paper and the die comes. So if I leave it like that, it's not going to cut right. So you want to center this as best as you can. So that means I need to drop it down a little bit. And then I went too far, so I'll just move it up maybe a little bit. And what I'm looking for are where it's very close to the edge. I want to make sure I have enough edge there so I can put adhesive underneath it, okay? So I'm very happy with this. So you can also, if you want it, you could put washi tape on your basic white to keep it put if you wanted to. I'm going to just wing it and not do that. So let me grab my machine here. Very carefully pick this up. And then our embossing folders go in the machine with the fold side, not the loose side, but the fold side. So it's going to go in like this. Then I grab my other number 3. And I just push it in until my handle moves, and then I'll transfer over my left hand to the handle, and then I'm going to crank. Oh wait, I got something wrong. Something's not right. Oh, I know what it is. You don't need that. You don't need that plate, the acrylic plate. Sorry about that. Let me grab that. The nasty looking one. So to go over 1, 2, die, paper, and embossing folder, and then your number 3, right? Yeah, number 3. You want to sandwich it in just to make sure everything is good and centered. Again, I push it until that handle moves, and then my left hand goes on the handle, because I'm right-handed. Sorry if the camera is wobbly. And I'm going all the way through until it pops. There we go. I'm gonna fold this up. We'll go back to it. And now I'll open this up. And I got a little bit of washi tape on there, probably from remnants of another one. So now we will carefully take this apart. And I'm going to keep this on there just so I don't lose it. And then here's our embossed large butterfly. And then we have our panel that's got butterflies and little dots around it. So I'm going to, you'll see a lot of this, you're actually all this white you're going to see. And what I wanted to do is pop up that larger butterfly so it's up off the paper. So let's see, what do I want to do? I'm going to add the designer paper. So we're going to flip this over so we see the debossed side, and then I'm going to find that scrap. And if it was directional, you'll need to make sure it's okay, going the correct way. You can flip it over too to see what it looks like. Every part of it's covered. So now I need to remember that the glue is going to go on this side here. Not the back side, but the same side that you're going to see. And you want to, I've got a tight fit, so I'm going right to the edge here. Just really carefully. None in the middle, folks. Okay. And I'm going to flip this back over, and I'm going to cover up that butterfly. And let me just press it down. I'm going to cap this. And now we flip it over and we have something like that. And I can still work with this piece now, or I can glue it on to my Melon Mambo. But first I'm going to stamp. So because we don't have a lot of stamping with this one. But we do need to bring in that piercing mat again. And we're doing a So Thankful card. And I've just got a strip of white. Oh, I got glue in my hands. So Thankful is here. I've got it mounted on a B block, as in boy, or beautiful butterflies. And then I'm just gonna ink it up. Doesn't matter where I stamp it because I'm gonna trim it down. Okay. I think I've got enough room to make an angle cut. Oh my gosh. That was my, what was that? That was my #1 plate. It just fell off my desk. Sorry. Sorry. Okay, so that is all done. Let's stamp the back side of the card same way as I did before. I do need to clean my stamp, so let me grab my cleaner here. And since I'm at it, I will clean up the other ones. And there's one more. We don't want to contaminate our ink, so I still had Blackberry Bliss on that one from the previous card. So if I would have put that into Melon Mambo, we probably wouldn't have seen it, but say I was working with yellow, you would definitely get that Blackberry Bliss into your like Daffodil Delight, and that wouldn't look so good. All right, so I'm going to use the Sideways Butterfly. And let's see, I've got my back side right here. So we're just going to do this the same way. I'm just going to add that on there. It's tone on tone, so it's really hard to see. I haven't stamped with this one yet, and I want the second generation ink. So let me just grab that piece that's going in the inside. I'm just going to stamp it over here. And then I'm going to come back and stamp over that. And it's a very, very subtle butterfly, but I can see it on my side. All right, and then do we need, okay, so thankful for you. So let's grab that for you. And then I'm going to stamp it really close to that butterfly. There, and I've got plenty of room to write. My envelope is going to be stamped with the same butterfly, so everything is coordinating. I think we're all done with the Melon Mambo. Okay, so now let's take this piece here. You can put it on dimensionals if you wanted to, but since I'm adding dimensionals to the back side of the butterfly, I'm just going to strictly put this down right to the card front. And I'll make sure I get closer to the edge because it's an embossed panel. And then make sure your card is going the correct way. And then it's just going to get put down on the front equal distance. Now I could potentially have some ink on my fingers, so I kind of like to kind of rub it from the back side. With embossed paper, it just takes a little bit longer to adhere to the card base. While that's drying, I can work on the butterfly. So I want to grab that Melon Mambo body. And we'll do the same thing as the previous card. We will just put a little few dots here. 3 is good. And I'm just going to match up the antennas. And everything else flows right down into place. Okay, so let me just bring this a little bit closer so you can see that body. We will flip it over. I'm going to put the sentiment on last. So let me grab my dimensionals. We will put quite a few on this one because I'm working with like pieces. And you might notice, very subtle notice, that when you work with paper pumpkin or any of our kits and it comes with dimensionals, generally speaking, they are bigger, or the width, not the width, but the height is different, slightly different than our regulars. So with that being said, you might see a little bit difference because I used regular dimensionals on the sample cards. So we'll take, oh, you know what? Oh, shoot, I wasn't thinking. We don't want them over here. Now I just wasted them. Because we're going to want those wings to come up. So let's get rid of these. I did this on the sample card too. but I didn't catch it until after I had the butterfly on there. This one might be a little bit too far over, but we'll try to work with it. Okay, so we'll bring in that card base. And now everything just kind of gets put over, the butterfly gets put over in exactly the same place as it was die cut. Okay, push it down, and then I can kind of roll these up a little bit, bend them up. Oops, just slight. That so thankful sentiment, I am going to trim that down very narrow because it's a 1/2 inch right now, and it's much easier actually to stamp on a 1/2 inch than it is to then it's, you know, a really small piece. So I just use my paper snips and I just kind of free cut way down in size. Just want a very thin sentiment. And on the back side of these, it does get raised up, and you'll need really thin pieces. I just love our paper snips. They just, if that's one thing I would put in a starter kit, it would be definitely paper snips. I have probably 3 in my craft room. Not because I lose them, it's because I use them so much. All right, this sentiment is going across horizontally. It's not going to get angled. It's going to get adhered horizontally. Okay. And now the inside, we've got our stamped panel, and then we have just the random piece that coordinates. It's the other side. I'm going to use, on the butterfly on the front, we use this side. So on this, and the inside, I'm just going to use the opposite side. It's going to look great. And if you don't know what to do with your designer paper, add a panel to the inside. And then this is simply cut 2 3/4 high by 4 1/4. So what you do is you cut your paper, if it's in portrait mode, cut it in half in the middle, and then you turn it horizontally and cut at 2 3/4. And then you'll get lot 6 out of one sheet versus 4 if you were to go 4 by 5 1/4. Hopefully you can understand that. I'm trying to get this straight, but working on camera is hard. There. Yeah, I think that's okay. I'm going to take my bone folder because my blade on my paper trimmer made that roll up on the edge. So it's very easy to fix that by using your bone folder. All right, let's finish up with some sequins. I chose the kind of almost iridescent ones. They've got a little, whoops, we've got a little bit of pink in them, but they're the next shade up from the kind of iridescent. I didn't want to do a big wow factor with these here because it'd be too dark. So I'm going to go to the second lightest color, and we're just going to add 3. So 1, 2, and let's grab a big one. And let's put one down here. Okay, and I noticed this one only has 1. Must have, I know what I did. I put some on the body and I didn't really like that, and I did not put them back. So we'll just do that. And there is your card number 2 for today. I don't use Melon Mambo very much, but it is a bright and cheerful card. So let me know what you like about that one. You can do this with any color scheme that is in the designer paper. Every color will work. So if you wanted to make this azure afternoon, it would be a blue, and then just find a pattern that's got the blue in it. And then I would make this the body azure afternoon along with the sentiment. So very easy to work with. So let's see. Oh, you might have to get this set. I'm telling you, Alice, you're going to love it. And you don't pay, you're Bronze Elite, so you get 25% off that 75.25, I think it is. So don't forget about that. Okay, card number, if they're going to get difficult, well, I'm going to call them difficult. All right, Azure Afternoon, that's where we're going next. I really like this one. I don't work with Azure Afternoon, and I know Debbie Franklin, who's on here, she is like one of her favorite colors. And I hit it with some Wink Stella. I don't know if I splattered with it, and it just made it so much better. Okay, I think you can see it sparkle. Okay, so we're gonna have to do the same thing. I left all that die cutting and embossing so you guys could see it multiple times. So let me think what I want to do first. I think I might want to get my stamping out of the way. So this one just says hello on the front and a butterfly with "in case you need me, I'm here." So I love this card. So we are going to stamp first. I got this not burnished yet, so let me grab my bone folder and just simply burnish that like 3 times. That way it's lying flat for us and it won't like get crazy on us. We need the circle and we need the white for the inside. I really struggled to figure out what color I wanted to go with Azure Afternoon. I tried a few and I ended up going tone on tone and then using Shy Shamrock, because Shy Shamrock is the grass color here and it's in the designer paper throughout, and it's one of the colors that are listed, so it should go together, right? And I think it really turned out pretty good with those colors. All right, we'll work on the back side again and then we'll work on everything else. So I need Azure Afternoon, and let me quickly clean my stamps real quick. Okay, so can you hear my floor squeak? I'm gonna dance for you. Oh, it's driving me crazy. You can tell that I don't use Azure Afternoon because this ink pad looks brand new. All right, so let's grab our stamp again and we'll just stamp down. That really pops. I can't remember what, oh, you know what? I didn't do this one. So we will just work our way through this one. I'm going to use that large butterfly. But since that's first generation ink, I need to stamp off, and then I'm going to stamp over that just for a subtle look. So again, we will stamp off and then stamp over. Okay. So give that a try. I honestly know that you will really like it. And with the butterflies, it looks fabulous. All right, we'll grab our envelope. Sorry. I was looking for the stamp and trying to talk at the same time. So let's grab that butterfly we were using, and I'm going to stamp it at an angle. And then my hello. There's a lot of stamps over here on the right side. You can't see them all, but I've got them all but one. And we're going to use all but one, and that was the large butterfly. Make sure you stamp on the smooth side, by the way. And then the inside panel. Oh, I used the wrong butterfly, but that's okay. We'll mix it up. I'm going to stamp this big one here. And then grab my sentiment or message. And then I'm going to sneak it in kind of at the top here. Okay, so I still have enough room to write a message right there. All right, so now we'll have to, let me think. Yes, Okay, this is gonna be fun, I think, if I do it right. Okay, I'm gonna put everything over here because I need that embossing. I need to emboss again. So we need our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, not the mini, but the big one. And then, let me see. We need plate number 1, the shim, which is number 2. And then, I did it again. Let's add this in here. It's horizontal again. So we're just gonna place it in there and just double check that's where we want it to go, which looks pretty good. Oh, wait a minute, I'm thinking, what did I do? How did I do this? I get a peek. Oh, yeah. Okay, so this one, you want, I almost screwed it up, but if you can see, I'll try to show you on this one. See this part here and here? That's from the die. So I was like, oh, I can't put that panel way down here because then it would be looking really not so good. So I just pretended this is part of the embossed panel, okay? And we'll do the same thing. So I just need to put this in place. Double check all the way around, which it looks good. And then again, your fold goes in first. And then I'm gonna grab I just use my acrylic plate. Oops. Make sure your sandwich is all good and straight. It's a really tight fit. I'm trying to go slow, so, oh my gosh. I know you guys are laughing at me. It's gonna pop. Phew! Oh my goodness, that was a workout. I got everything all twisted around here. Okay, so now let's see what we just did. Hopefully it came out right, or else I'll have to go cut another panel. So I'm gonna gently pull this out. And see, our die is still on there, and I suggest you just leave it on here all the time. That way you won't lose it, and it's all set up ready to go. Just put your washi tape on there, and now I know where it is. Isn't that beautiful? Look at that. You gotta have this suite, every piece of it. Okay, so let's work top to bottom. Well, our middle panel first. Now I've got 2 different sizes here because the inside is a little bit different than my other one. On this one, I didn't use a full panel of designer paper. I just used it a little bit, like 1/4 of an inch larger than the white. And again, it's 4 1/4 by 2 3/4. That way you maximize the amount of white that panels that you can get out of one single sheet of 8.5 by 11. All right, so I'm gonna grab my glue here. I hope my phone doesn't run out of battery. That would be horrible. Okay, so I've got that on. And again, it's directional with the grass, okay? And then this one is for the inside. I always do my insides last for some reason. I don't know why. So now this embossed panel, we're just going to glue it right here, but you got to put quite a bit of glue on it because you don't want this kind of popping up. So just go really lightly with your liquid glue. And I would suggest liquid glue on this. So I'm just kind of going around. I'm barely getting or putting pressure on the barrel of glue because I don't want it to come out like in globs. Okay, and then double check. You don't want to put this on upside down. And then we got tone on tone, and I'm going to go slow so I don't rip or anything. Okay, so that's that. This is very similar to the other card we just did, but it's just a different way of using that butterfly. This here is going to get popped up, and you can see right here is where that butterfly ends, and it's a little bit too far down, but that's the way you have to cut it. So I think it's okay looking like that. It just looks like it's part of the panel, but it's a deboss side. All right, so let's grab some dimensionals here. If you're just coming on, this is a free class I'm offering from today, January 1st, all the way through January 14th. And with a $35 order using my host code, which I already showed, but it's here, you will receive one kit of each of these designs. To make the cards exactly like mine, you will need the bundle. But I would give you the embossed panels, all that. But you would definitely need, like, the sentiments are awesome. And it's just a great suite. It's so reasonably priced. Okay, so I put 5 on there just to give it stability, because we have that humongous butterfly that's going on the front. You could put ribbon on this if you wanted to. I'm just staying away from ribbon right now. All right, so I'm going to center this one. Don't worry about that butterfly. It's part of the front. And I'm just going to center this on here. That looks good. Then on this one, we do need dimensionals on every part of it. So make sure you're adding them to the deboss side, which, if you don't know what it is, deboss side is, if you just rub it, it feels much scratchier than the true front side. So these are bigger than normal. They're edge pieces, so that's going to be helpful. I won't have to put as many on there. And let's put one right in the middle here. Get those all pressed down. My goal was to get 10,500 subscribers by yesterday. I don't even know. I never even checked it to see if I hit my goal or not. And I have my drawing I need to do tonight, which I'll do off camera probably, or maybe I'll just come on and do a short video. I need to draw the name for the bundle I'm giving away. And that's on my website. So if you want to head over there on maybe a laptop or while you're watching, you can enter my drawing to win the Hearts, was it Hearts and Love or something like that? You think I would know all this, but there's just so much to remember. Names. And I'm switching out of bundles so much. It's like I use one and then I got to get to the other one. So what I just did is wrong. So let me just take that off. What I want to do is, the glue is correct, because the glue is going to hit this designer paper, but we need to sneak in a dimensional over here just so that it's lying flat and is at the same height. So it needs to go under that O. I just need to put one a little bit lower. Okay, so now when I put this here, it's now all on the same level. Okay, now let's work on the inside. We've got this one here, and then way over there is my panel. We're going to just simply adhere this down. And we've got that nice little border, which is on the same pattern that we used on the front, is going to be on the inside. And then again, we're just going to add some glue, and then this gets centered. This looks really good. Now, if you're not a demonstrator, you will not be able to order this until January 7th. But us as demonstrators, that's one of the perks of being a demonstrator, is you get to work with the product. Oh, I need the body. Where'd that go? You get to work with a product 1 month earlier. This time we had a little bit longer time to work with our new product. So you get a head start. So if you would like to learn more about purchasing the starter kit or daisies that are on here, they can totally answer any questions you have while I'm teaching. And if you want to talk one-on-one, I'm here to do that as well. You can just give me shoot me an email and I can touch base with you. The starter kit special is going to be coming on January 7th. So make sure you get your list together and what you want to put in your starter kit. And then you can go to town. Make sure this is part of it. All right, so now what I did on this one here, I'm going to do the same thing after I put the embellishments on. I'm going to splatter with Wink of Stella. So those embellishments, I used the next color up, which is this one. Excuse me. And again, I'm just going to add 3 randomly on the designer paper because I really don't want to put it on the Azure Afternoon. So we've got one large one. And let's put one here. I'm not going to put any on the right side because we have that sentiment here. So let's put it over here. So then it's kind of all ways out and it's not heavy on one side. Okay, so now let's hit it with our Wink of Stella. I love doing this. As long as the Wink of Stella doesn't go crazy. Just make sure you have some in the brush, which I know I do. And then all you do is you tap. And you tap and tap and tap until you get as much Wink of Stella on your card as you want. And I'm doing this pretty heavy so you guys can see it. Okay, so let's see if you can see it. Hopefully you can. But it's so pretty. Okay, so that is card number 3. We have one more to go. And that is the crazy one that I hope I can get. I've only made it one time, so hopefully I can remember how I made it. So let me just check and see if there's any questions or anything, which there are not. So I'm going to move on to our last card. I've got a lot of cards over here I can send in the mail. So as a refresher, this is what it looks like. So we got lots of different pieces going on. We got the strip of Happy Birthday on the lemon lolly. And then we have a butterfly cut in Daffodil Delight. I stamped, and I finally figured out, I was telling my team, I don't know what these are for yesterday, but they're for the butterfly. I had no idea until I finally really looked at the catalog. And then I'm going to show you how to extend your body so it's bigger. We're going to have to do some funny cutting over here. And then we've got designer paper, and I've got some strips of Shy Shamrock embossed on the inside. Let's see, what did I do? Oh, there's no inside. That's right, Karen. I did this really pretty design on the back side. But this is how it opens. Isn't that cool? Look at that. And it's so cool. Time to celebrate. Happy birthday. Okay, so let me think. I'm going to have to do all of the embossing first. So we'll get out our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine last time. And let's see. I already cut one just to save some time. But this is the butterfly that you're going to want. It's the big one that folds, and I'll show it to you in a minute. And we're going to need to do some cutting on it. So I left it like this so I can show you how I cut around. So that's already been done. And in here I have my 2 strips of Shy Shamrock, which need to be embossed. I got 2 strips of Lemon Lolly just in case I make a mistake. And then I've got Shy Shamrock Body and Daffodil Delight butterfly already die cut. And then I got a piece of designer paper here, and this is just another pattern. All right, so we need to take this die out because we don't want to use this one. We're going to emboss the Shy Shamrock first. And so I'm just gonna do the same thing. We got 1, number 2, and then we're gonna put the Shy Shamrock strips in horizontally because we want them to go across the paper going upwards. I'm sure you got that right in your face, didn't you? So that means we just need to put these on horizontally and just find a place where you're gonna get a lot of embossed paper. So we flip this over, and now you can just, it's okay if it's crooked. You can kind of see where your embossing is going to go on that paper. So again, your fold goes in first, and then number 3. And this should not be as tight as the other one because we don't have that die in there. It's like I'm in slow motion. Jeez, Louise. Okay, let's see what we have. All right, we've got, oops, that's looking good. And then this one here looks good. Okay, so that step is done. And the next thing we need to do is take our card base, and this is where we're going to get out that special die. That is this one here. Now, I'm sure I'm doing this incorrectly, but this is only my second time using this, so feel free to correct me if you want. I'm still learning this. But up here, you can see these little like dashes. That's where it's going to it's not going to cut on some of it. So right here, the way I have it lined up, it's going to cut out all here. Now, I think if I dropped it down, it would, I don't know if it would cut there or not. I will just need to have to try it. But we need plate number 1. And we also need number 2, which is the shim. Number 3, and then our paper. And then we need, actually, I'm going to switch these because the acrylic plate I want on the bottom is this one that's really a mess. 1, and then 2. It tells you right here. And then 1, 2, and then 3. And then your card base. I've already got it scored, but the other way I did it was I had it, wait, no, I want it folded. That's right, you want it folded. I'm using Basic White Thick. It's our thickest white. So now this, where those lines are going to, you're going to try to get them on the fold, I think, or just down from the fold. I wish I had time to figure this out. You need washi tape for this. So I think I used, here's a small piece, because we don't want this moving. I think that'll be okay. It is much higher on the bottom, but by putting in these strips, you don't notice it as much. Okay, so I've got that centered on there. And now I'm going to add my plate 3. And hopefully, if this doesn't work, I'll try again. We'll just push that in there. And here we go. That didn't make any noise. That's weird. Okay, hopefully I did this correctly. Yep, I did. I'm pretty sure I did. Okay, that's kind of going to go in my garbage. We are all done with the Stampin' Cut machine, so I'm going to get it off my desk. Okay, so again, this is what we're trying to create right here. It's going to open up. Okay, so this is where I got my, really trying to think how I did this. Okay. I'm going to cut this off here. I did this differently. I did not do this the first time, so we're going to see how this comes out. That bottom one right there didn't get cut all the way through. Yeah, I did, but it's going to be hard to take out. I want that out there anyway. We don't want that showing. We don't want this showing either because that body's going to cover that up. So I'm going to try to get rid of all of this. So we don't need it. What I did was on this one, I'm trying to think what I did. Oh, I know what I did. I did not. I opened it up. That's what I did. This might be a better way of doing this, actually. This could be a mistake that actually turns out good. Okay, grab my paper snips. And I'm going to try to just, we don't need this at all on the front or on the back side. So what I want to do is I want to cut off even the antennas. So let me just get down to a more reasonable place here. And I'm just going to cut around like that. Okay. I'm going to have to go cut, actually, I'll just grab I'm going to need to go and cut a panel because I'm doing this differently. So just a second. This has got to be 5.5 by 4.25. And then this is going to go up here so it opens up. But I might be able to even, I'm going to be able to do this differently though. I'm still thinking, you guys. All right, so I need to fix this because it needs to go curve a little bit. So we just need to work on this. Just rounding our corners there. You can also take an emery board and file down. It could be quicker, or a sanding block. Okay, so that's good. Let me grab my piercing mat because we're going to stamp the front of this. And we're going to stamp that in pumpkin pie. So we've got our pumpkin pie here. And we also need those little dots. And where is my piercing? Oh gosh. Oh well. It's probably fell somewhere. But it's okay. You can use a mouse pad. I'm working on the fly here. This dirty old mouse pad, and I'm going to grab a piece of scrap paper because we're going to go off the edge. Okay, I'm going to open, let's see. Yeah, we're going to, since it's the same size, front and back, I need to stamp all those little dots. And I thought this would look really cool with embossed in gold dots. Something to think about. First thing we want to do, though, is add these to the front of the butterfly. I don't know which way these go, so I think I did this. I put this down on the paper first, the way I'm going to stamp it, so we get them stamped at the same time. I grabbed a eye block and I'm going to pick those up. Okay, so now they're on there. And I will take my ink pad, which is again pumpkin pie. And I'm going to take the ink pad to the stamp. And I'm just going to make sure I get a lot of ink on there. And then we'll bring this in. And I got to bring this closer, sorry. I'm just going to bring this down about 5/8 of an inch from the bottom, and then I'm going to stamp. Okay, that's the bottom, and then I noticed they're on. I'm trying to recreate one of the cards that's in the catalog. So then I was like, I didn't stamp this at first, but it's got to go on like this. So that means you need to take one of these off. So what I'll do is I'm going to clean this first, and it's easy to do. So I'll leave one on, and then this one is going to go on the back side. Okay, out of the same area that that one is. And then you just got to remember which one goes where, which I think it's this side. I could totally be wrong, but I'm going to aim for here. Okay, and then it's just going to get it stamped right there. Okay, and then I'm going to go to the other side of that block to ink up the other one. And then stamp down. So now it looks like that. That looks pretty cool, just like that. But I was trying to recreate the card that's in the catalog, so I'm going to still do that with those little dots. Let's see, what did I do with the little dots? Here they are. So we're going to do first and second generation ink, and you want to be, you don't want the same pattern, like don't stamp it like this, because then you're going to get repeat patterns. So what I'll do is you're going to stamp off the edge as well. I'm going to stamp like that, and then I'm going to just turn my stamp to get a second generation ink, which is lighter. Okay, then again, I'm going to come over here and stamp that. I'm going to re-ink because half of it's got one layer of ink and another one doesn't. So I'm going to stamp off and kind of come into here. So you're just kind of randomly stamping. Now I'm really screwing this up. Throughout all the edges. And you're turning your stamp, or you can turn your paper, whatever's easiest for you. You just don't want the same pattern, so you're turning your stamp or your paper every single time so you don't get that same pattern. I don't want to stamp here, so let's go this way. Okay, I want to stamp up in here because we're going to see a lot of that anyway. So we got first generation, turn our stamp, second generation. Okay, and then let's get first generation, and this has still got first generation on it, so let's go over there. And now some second generation lighter ink. And I want to fill this up over here because there's just too much white space. So with some third generation ink, you should be able to, I didn't do that. That didn't come out the way I wanted it to. I'm just re-inking and putting more dots there. Okay, so now we're going to keep going around. So one, and then you can angle it this way, and then throw in some first generation, and then go over here. It's just random stamping. Lots of little polka dots. And then here and over here. You guys will need to let me know. I'm really struggling with live videos versus pre-recorded. I'm going to probably do a survey for my email subscribers, what they want to see. If they want to see more card making, scrapbooking, craft fair, and try to do what my customers want me to showcase. I've never really scrapbooked much, so that could be totally fun for me because I would be learning something new, and we have scrapbook products now. So that's something to think about. Okay, that front is going to look better. All right, we're going to stamp the inside with that. Let's see, time to celebrate. Hopefully I'm not losing you guys. And then this is just going to go in here. That's all done. And then that strip in Lemon Lolly. I'm going to stamp Happy Birthday in Pumpkin Pie. Okay. And then we've got our envelope, which I think it's just going to be random. So actually, here it is. I'm going to just use that sideways butterfly. And then this is going to be the back. So let's clean it real quick and grab our pumpkin pie ink and stamp it down. And then I'm going to stamp that other butterfly right on top. So we have that lighter shade. I am totally off camera. Sorry about that. I think we're all done. All right, so that's the back side. We flip it over. And now we're going to adhere everything down. So what I did was I started with the designer paper first. And then I added the strips. That way the cardstock is on front of the designer paper. This would look really pretty too. So I will just grab my liquid glue and just run it around the corner, all the corners here and a little bit in the middle. And this is a directional pattern with a grass. Just center it on the front. If it goes over the edge, that's okay. You can use your paper snips to trim it down. Mine is a little bit. And now we're going to add the strip of Shy Shamrock. And I'm looking at the butterflies to make sure they're going upwards. And slide it right to the, oh shoot, I didn't put it on the right. I want it up here, Karen, darn it. There we go, got a massive amount of glue on there, but I'll use my eraser to get that off. And then the glue goes on the deboss side, by the way. And then look at your panel, make sure it's going the correct way, and then it's going to get put on the bottom right against the edge. Oops. So that gives it a little bit more of a clean finish. Now this is the time you're going to want to trim down if you have anything over the edge, which over here I do. So we'll just trim that off. I love our paper snips because they can get so close to the edge. Okay. Now, this piece here is going to get adhered down to the front. Okay, so we'll make sure we have plenty of glue on this, but not too much that it goes over the edge. And it gets centered. So I'm looking at the bottom here and the top and the right and left side. So everything looks good. Now you're going to want to open this up, and what I would do is take a block, make sure it's clean, and just press this down. Now on the other one, because I cut this differently, I added this to the very top. Okay, see, here's this one. I only cut a single layer of paper, and then I cut this again and glued it on the inside, but this way is much better, you guys. So follow this. And then the happy birthday, again, I'm going to trim this down for a very small sentiment label. We'll angle cut as well. And then I'll angle cut this way. And I'll set that aside, so that's all ready to go. Our next step is to adhere this Daffodil Delight, beautiful butterfly. Just make sure all your pieces are out. Okay, and what all I did was I put some liquid glue right here. And then I put it in the middle, right about here. And just press on the body part so it sticks. Oh, wait, shoot, no, the body's got to go on there first. I knew I forgot something. All right, Shy Shamrock. So to extend that body, because this does not fit, okay? I don't know why they didn't give us a larger one, but I'm not going to question it because it's easy to fix it. So what I do is I cut it in half, okay? And then the bottom part is going to get adhered. Oh, geez. The bottom part gets adhered first. This is where tweezers will come in handy. Gosh, I got some yellow in there somehow. Some yellow Daffodil Delight cardstock. Okay, so that is on there. Then, where's the other half? Right here. We're going to do the same thing. We add it to the rough side. Just a little bit. And then you're going to want to put some on the antennas. Just a little bit. Yeah, get tweezers. So then this is going to go put right here at the edge. Make sure it's straight. Okay. Now our Daffodil Delight goes over top of it, and you can't tell that it's separated. So then this is going to get put over here, and you'll just need to hold it in place just a little bit. Make sure it's stuck down. You can use your block as well. Okay, while that's drying, oh, this came out much better than the other one. I'm going to add some mini dimensionals or pieces to the back side of that sentiment, and they have to be really thin, and I'm going to need probably 3. 1, 2, and 3. And I'll just use my fingernails to get these off because they're so tiny. And now the happy birthday is going to go right in that middle of the body. Okay. Oh, I think this looks much better than the original. And now it opens like that. Let me turn it over here so you can see it on the black side. See that? And I would hit it with some Wink of Stella. Or you can take your Wink of Stella and brush the body lightly. And a little bit, just kind of do some light brush strokes over the detailed butterfly die cut. Just light touches. You don't need to fill in everything. Just make some sparkles. And then I'm going to tap and get the splatter around the whole thing. And then the final step is to add our sequins. And on these, since the pinks aren't in this, I chose the iridescent color, so the lightest color, and just going to randomly put them. So one small one and one large one over on this corner here, and then a smaller one will go over here. Okay. Phew, that is your class, you guys. I'm glad I made a mistake because let me just show you now. You could make this a double if you wanted to. You could just, instead of using just one panel of white, you could make a regular card base. So this would open like this and your butterfly opens. There is so much you could do. You could actually cut this a second time with designer paper and not stamp anything in here, and just match up the designer series on the back side, and then you could glue this on the top of a card base, and then you would get write your message on the inside. So this is my goof up, but it still works. I did not cut that correctly. And then here's the one I think is much better. I don't know, you guys can think. I haven't seen any comments in a while, so I have no idea if comments are coming or not. They stopped after Debbie's comment. They're all so pretty. I have no idea if anybody's commented after that. It's kind of broken up. Oh, love all the cards. Okay, so Carla just... Okay, so there was no comments. Any questions now, use the time to actually ask, or you can email me. I don't mind answering your questions on any of this. I had a great time working with this sweet butterfly, the bouquet. Oh my gosh, I'm going to lose my voice. The Bloom Impressions you can get for free with a $60 order starting on January 7th. And if you use my host code, you can earn 4 free card kits with a $35 order, but you wouldn't order this. So bump it up to at least 60 and you get a full pack of designer paper, 12 by 12, automatically. You'll just need that item number here, 164944. You can get the Beautiful Butterflies suite, and then you would get the free paper. All right, but an order of $35 will get you 4 card kits, 1 of each, or an order of 50 or above gets you all 4, well, gets you all designs times 2. So you'll get 8 card kits. So let me just show you all the ones we made. I just loved doing this today. I created these today without even working on this with a stamp set and bundle. I used it once to show my team, but it was just this basic card. I did these two earlier today. And then here's our bumped up. So this is number 1, I would say, for a skill level. 1, 2, oops, that's coming off, 3, and 4. Okay. All the insides are now going to be designed this way in my card club. That way you're using your designer paper. And I'll show you my card club cards in just a second. Just wanted to show you the inside of these. My card club information is on my website, Inspired by Graham. This is not yet. I haven't had time to upload the information and do an email I'm going to get a video link of the email, or the video link for this live, for a replay. Oh my goodness. What did I do with everything? Let's see. I said I had to get it out of the way. So I did say that my card club cards are no longer going to be made online, live or pre-recorded video. They are just for my card club subscribers. So you can get a sneak peek of them, but I won't be able to show you how they are made. That's special for my card club subscribers. So that's one of them. I made a non-traditional kind of Valentine's Day card with Daffodil Delight on this one. Those tiny bead trinkets are so cute. And then there's vellum too that you can purchase, but you'll receive some vellum in your card club. And this side here is vellum, and that's the hexagon, heartfelt hexagon punch. And I punched out some pecan pie to match, and then you'll adhere your vellum over top of the pecan pies, just so this is a little bit more sturdy, because vellum is kind of a flimsy paper. And then we had that one. And then I like the pool party. And then on the inside here. So all of them are designed with designer paper on the inside. And I think I showed you this one on the inside, but I'm not sure. Oh, no, I didn't. I would have remembered that pattern. It's so pretty. Marigolds, I believe. It's hard to tell. I think they are. I don't know. You guys can let me know. We don't have any flowers growing right now. It's a mess outside. It's slushy, yucky day today. I didn't even go outside. All right, so any questions, let me know. If you would like to be a member of my email list, you'll need to go sign up at inspiredbygraham.com and just make sure you hit that pop-up button and fill your information out. I don't spam you guys. I just send out emails when I have time to do that. It's not every day. I'm going to be doing the drawing for the Hearts and Love bundle momentarily, and I will put that out on my, I'll send an email out on the winner. So good luck to you if you have submitted your entry. There's still time because I haven't shut it off yet. So maybe 5 more minutes and then it'll get turned off. But I hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and I'll probably see you next week. Take care.